Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this information session on the International Open University. I'd like to welcome all of you and may the peace and blessings uh, of Allah be upon you all. We're going to do this short information session. It just consists of a presentation about the IOU and some details about this university that was started to make it easy for Muslims all over the world to gain authentic knowledge in the fields of Islam and in other fields as well that provide an Islamic perspective on the different fields of study that are usually taught in universities throughout the world, inshallah. So it's just going to consist of this presentation is going to consist of the details about IOU, a slide presentation, and then followed by question and answer. So if anyone does have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put it into the chat, and we'll be addressing them right after. So without further ado, let me begin, inshallah. So the International Open University, also known as previously as the Islamic Online University. Its motto is changing the nation through education. The International Open University originally was formed in 2001 by the Islamic scholar, and Dai, Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips. Many might be aware of him. And just a note that although online learning has become more popular nowadays, especially after COVID, alhamdulillah, the International Open University started in 2001 and has been doing it since then, using this type of form of educational tools that are online. So basically, the International Open University provides accredited undergraduate and postgraduate certificates, diplomas, and degrees in Islamic studies, Arabic, and other modern subjects from an Islamic perspective, like psychology, business, and education. And the mission is to make authentic Islamic and Islamicized modern education readily available and affordable to people throughout the world. For those who are not familiar with the founder, Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips, he's a Jamaican Canadian Islamic scholar. He accepted Islam in the early 1970s. He completed his bachelor's in Islamic studies at the University of Medina in Saudi Arabia, completed his MA in Islamic theology at King Saud University, also in Saudi Arabia, and then PhD in Islamic theology at the University of Wales in UK. After that, he taught Arabic and Islamic studies in high schools and universities for over 20 years in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. So he's had a thorough background in the field of education and educating young people and others throughout in different parts of the Middle East. So he set up an Islamic studies department in various universities before he came up with this idea to make it a university online. He's also named under the 500 most influential Muslims publications, mashallah. And he's authored over 50 published Islamic books. So this is an area a lot of people are familiar with Dr. Bilal, especially those who, before the internet became popular, many Muslims, even new Muslims, educated themselves about the religion through his books. Alhamdulillah. Here are some of the features of the International Open University. Of course, online e-learning. So we use various tools available in modern tools available to make learning possible through online means, through lectures, video, interactive sessions, as well as forums and so forth. So online e-learning makes it easy for anyone anywhere in the world to access the programs and the content at IOU. Another feature of IOU's programs are you could study anytime. And you also have flexibility on how you study. So there could be basically you could take a full course load, you could take a part-time course load, depending on a person's ability to handle study loads. You could learn anywhere. So whether you're at home, you're traveling, you're in an office. Nowadays, everything's mobile. Using a laptop, TV, a mobile device, uh, the content at the various courses within Islamic International Open University are available. The other feature is Islamicized education. In addition to Islamic studies, there are various different subjects and fields of studies that are offered, but from an Islamic perspective. If you look at it now, many even Muslims, in order to gain that expertise in different fields, whether it's psychology, language, teaching, and other sciences. We go to many universities that have a secular approach. So this is an Islam-sized approach, a way of thinking. Second, and then there's the affordable fees. So especially in the West, if we look at at the university fee structure, they tend to be fairly expensive. Alhamdulillah, at the International Open University, the intention was to make authentic knowledge available to anyone, anywhere in the world in an affordable manner. So there is affordability as well. And finally, it is an accredited degree. So there are some universities that have accredited the International Open Universities programs. Some of the programs, various programs, and we're working to make it more comprehensive. And we could go over that a little bit later. So here, actually, right now, here are the accreditations. Number one, the Ministry of Higher Education in the Gambia. They also have accredited this program, some of the degrees at the IOU in 2014. So basically, it granted the International Open University a license to operate. And then the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority in the Gambia, and NAQAA, also accredited its bachelor's and master's degrees starting in 2019. Alhamdulillah. And we're hoping that once a well-known or a known and established educational authority such as this one has provided the accreditation, that it could go further and make it more comprehensive and more accepted worldwide. Again, here's a look at the history of the IOU. We said it was launched in 2001. In 2007, it was relaunched with 22 free diploma courses. And in 2010, the Bachelor of Arts in Islamic Studies, which was the original program, in the university level, post-secondary level, degree level, at the IOU was began. And in 2014, the IOU established the headquarters in Gambia, receiving a university license, and started offering bachelors in 4 new subjects and a BAS in Russian as well. 2015, the IOU started offering bachelors in 2 new subjects and masters in Islamic studies. And we'll go over these different areas. In 2017, it began offering BAIS in Bahasa for Indonesians and launched the 1 Million African Scholarship Initiative. And this is to help a youth in Africa gain a university level education. In 2019, accreditation was received from the NAQAA, as was mentioned previously. In 2020, the university changed its name from the Islamic Online University to the International Open University to make it more wide and receivable in different parts of the world. And in 2021 to 2024, the NAQAA accredited all 7 bachelor's degree and 5 master's degree at the International Open University, alhamdulillah. So here are some stats about the IOU. Currently, there are over 37,500 enrolled students. That is since 2014 in 173 countries. 20,000 plus students have completed at least one semester at the IOU, and over 2,600 students have graduated in 94 countries. So this is one feature about the IOU that might not be applicable to nearly any university in the world, is the diversity of the student body and how it also includes many countries in the world, majority of the countries in the world, could say, or a lot. It includes 8 academic departments with 28 programs, 84 student committees in 61 countries. So these are students who form committees to facilitate studies for the local students, as well as to make the university known to others. There are over 2,500 exam centers in 146 countries, 200 plus staff and faculty in 35 countries. And for the fall 2023 semester, nearly 7,000 enrolled students existed at the IOU. And a note is, as in the past, it is known that a lot of the in degree, let's say 100 years ago, it was mainly male student representation. Alhamdulillah, IOU has 54% a female representation in the student body, and on top of that, 32% of students are on scholarship, such as what we've mentioned already. So this allows them to gain an education without the financial burden. And here are the staff to faculty at the IOU, the professors and instructors. And as you can see, just like the student body, there's a lot of diversity from all over the world. We have Grenada, Egypt, India, USA, Bangladesh. So people who are experts in various fields from all over the world, alhamdulillah. Here are the faculties and programs at the IOU. So there's a faculty of Arabic and Islamic studies. That was the original bachelor's degree, as we mentioned, was in Islamic studies. And along with that, later on, the Arabic language, which is something for many parts of the world, since the whole idea is an English audience was the target at the beginning, and we've translated, as you seen, into different languages. But the Department of Arabic language provides a focus on the language of Arabic in order to understand, the classical texts of Islam, the primary source such as the Quran, Hadith, and so forth. And then there's a faculty of liberal arts and sciences. This includes a department of business administration. Again, in all of these, the focus is not only modern knowledge and methodology in these fields, such as business administration. So a person could be working in an organization or a corporation, but also the Islamic perspective on it in terms of the morals that Islam teaches when doing business. And same with Department of Economics and Finance, the Department of Education. So this is teaching methodology and so forth. Department of Information Technology, and the Department of Psychology. Keep in mind that from my perspective, I live in the West. This, a lot of people are looking for a program, oftentimes on Islamic studies, or a program that is, let's say, Islamic economics and finance. But in other countries, as you see, the representation, the diversity is pretty vast. And at the IOU, there's an opportunity to educate Muslims in countries that are not as developed as the West and give them the opportunity to gain these skills to help themselves and the society. So there's different program levels. So within these departments, a person can just do a certificate, which is a shorter, more basic program and takes less time, or a diploma, which does not, uh, you know, is not equivalent to a degree, or an associate degree. Again, not a full degree, but most of uh, a lot of the program, or a full bachelor's degree. So the bachelor's degree uh, standard is 4 year length. However, a person could fast track and do more courses per semester and complete it in less time. Or for many people who study at the IOU, they're working, have family responsibilities, other responsibilities. So there's an option to downgrade the number of courses and take a little bit longer to finish the degree. There are postgraduate certificates as well as a master's degree and a doctorate degree, which it was initially started a few years ago, but put on hold. But um, from what I'm aware, we're going to be beginning the PhD in Islamic studies and possibly other areas as well. Here are the departments and programs, some details. So again, as I mentioned, these different options to study and programs with different times and qualifications. So Islamic studies, there's a bachelor's, there's a postgrad certificate. For this is for people who already have a bachelor's in another field, so they won't be taking some of the courses that are required for normal bachelor's, but focusing on the Islamic courses or the Islamic sciences. And they would, it's also called the bridge to masters, and they would get a certificate, not a full degree, but have the opportunity after that to go directly to masters in Islamic studies, Master of Arts in Islamic studies. And this takes a less time. I believe it's 2 years rather than the full 4 year program. Could be a year and a half, um, depending on how you do the courses. And there's also a master's in Islamic studies based on research. And the doctorate is temporarily unavailable, but it's awaiting accreditation, but hopefully, we're hoping to release that soon. In the psychology department, again, there's a certificate, which is just like a shorter program where you get the basic knowledge of the field without a full degree. And there's associate, bachelor's, master's. Same with economics. Now, keep in mind, some of these programs that have asterisks on it is similar to the doctorate in Islamic studies. Just it's on temporary hold um, and unavailable and waiting accreditation. So the ones in bold are the ones that are available right now. So I'll focus on it. In economics, there's bachelor's and master's. Of course, economics is an area that a lot of people are interested in the Muslim world, even outside the Muslim world, because of all the issues right now and the option of Islamic economics as a solution. I mentioned the Arabic program. So Arabic does have a intensive Arabic program diploma, which is again a shorter program and a little bit structured a bit differently, but focuses on just Arabic, very much similar to what's in the Islamic studies program, but just the Arabic part for those who want to make themselves more knowledgeable and fluent in the Arabic language, especially reading, writing, and so forth. There is a bachelor's in Arabic as well as postgrad certificate, but on hold. Master's as well as master's research, just like the other one. Business administration. So there's a BBA, major in finance, and a master's MBA that, again, we're hoping to start soon. And we mentioned there are non-English programs as well in Russian, Indonesian, Urdu, and French now. The Urdu and French, we're hoping to release, it's coming soon, all for the Bachelor of Arts in Islamic Studies. Education, so teaching methodology and, to become a teacher or work in the field of education. This is what this program prepares a person for, but not only modern methodologies in teaching and education, but also the Islamic perspective. And I would say specifically focusing on how the Prophet used teaching methodology and so forth. So there's it's a rich area. Bachelor's, postgraduate, graduate certificate, and master's. And the other ones are certificate and associate, just waiting for approval on those. Information technology, right now, bachelor's and masters are available. Certificate and associate are coming. And there is also HQ offline exclusives, which is Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Law hybrid. This is very new. Again, the study plans, as I mentioned, a person who's a professional, let's say, or has limited time to uh, give for online studies, could take a part-time program. And also note that the fees vary according to the course weight. So 1 to 3 courses are allowed in this under this option of study, and that includes 24 to 40 certificates, and the estimated commitment per week 6 to 18 hours. Oftentimes, many students, as we mentioned before, would do it in different manners, such as listen to lectures on certain days, let's say the weekdays, even when commuting and so forth, and then focus on studies and doing module tests and so forth on days they're off during the week. So there's different ways of doing this. For the certificates, 2 to 3 years. The associate degree is 4 to 6 years, and the bachelor's is 6 to 9 years. So, depending on if 3 courses are taken every semester, it would take this many years to complete the program. And the master's would take 4 to 6 years because it's typically a 2-year program. Full time is 4 to 6 courses, 40 to 60 credits, and it requires more commitment per week, like 24 to 36. And it takes about 2 to 3 years for the associate, about 4 to 6 years for the bachelor's, and 2 to 4 years for the master's. Again, depending on if a person takes let's say 6 courses every semester, they should be able to finish successfully. They should be able to finish the bachelor's in 4 years, for example. And there's an accelerated option. Um, it's available for earlier curricular programs that are non-accredited. So keep that in mind. That's for people who want to finish earlier. And it means a person would take 7 to 9 courses and could complete a bachelor's degree rather than 4 years in 3 to 3.5 years. And again, here are the semester fees. Again, depending on if the program is part-time, full-time, or accelerated, like we just presented on the previous table. So, and there's a sliding scale depending on the country of residence. So we're right now, this is they're on in U.S. dollars, depending, and regardless of where you are located. And there are different options to pay, but mostly the most basic one is to pay online. So a part time, it could be for an undergraduate program, it could be 80 to 80. For masters, 225 to 570. So that, like for Canada, US, most of the developed countries, it would be the higher amount. So 280 to 570. But as I mentioned, if you look at that's for a full semester uh, of study, and there wouldn't be other fees. It's not based on number of courses. It's just, you take 1 to 3 courses, pay that much. And similar for the full time, it's, let's say, $450 or 830 for the masters, and that's one time. And for the whole semester, which, obviously most people who have studied in the West know that's not comparable to the course fees paid by or charged by most universities in the West. And accelerated, you can see there, it's a bit more because. And the intensive program, the Arabic program, it's a bit different. It's just one program. There are no options in terms of study plans. So it's typically 100 to 410, depending on which the country of residence. So it would be 410 for Canada, US, and so forth. Here are some important dates. So the semester begins this semester, March 1st, which is spring semester. So it has began just recently, but there's always time still to enroll, and it's open till the 30th for registration. So again, it's an online study method. So uh, there is the opportunity to study at your own pace. So even if you enroll soon, there's still plenty of time to complete the program. And the final exam. So here's a little bit of some details on the way the courses are structured. So most courses are split into nearly all the courses, I would say, are split into modules, and each module contains usually a lecture component, which is available in video or audio, in case people want to listen to it on the go or need to at some point. Some courses it is recommended to watch video because there are things in there that require, such as Arabic language, the video. And then oftentimes there's also a reading component or notes from the TA or the instructor. And then there's also usually in PDF format or any other format the primary text or secondary text of the course available online. And then there's a midterm exam for most programs and a final exam, and also certain assignments or research papers or assignment papers due. So the midterm exam is usually done at home, but the final exam at an exam center, as we discussed. So, and September 1st to 30th is the fall semester registration time. So before I go on, I just wanted to say that if this is something that you feel would be beneficial to you, and we know that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli Muslim, or he mentioned something similar to that, seeking knowledge is an obligation or a duty for every Muslim. That, as we go through life, there shouldn't be days that pass by without us increasing ourselves in knowledge, and inshallah that increases us in faith and in benefit. Whether you're seeking the knowledge of the religion to help practice your religion in this life, help yourself, your family, your children get closer to Allah, or if it is something else that could be of benefit to yourself, your family, and the Muslims, because as we know, we're facing a lot of challenges these days. You see what's going on in the different parts of the world, and to lift our status in the world and our strength in terms of different areas, fields, economics, whatever it may be. We know that people who work in the field, in any field, um, have to constantly upgrade themselves. There's training. Many most, I would say, successful organizations, corporations, they invest a lot in training. So this is the idea here, that we, even if we're someone who already studied, that we have a profession, or we're young and just finished high school or looking at options, we should always, this is something I would say is beneficial. And this is an opportunity to do it through an online mean where you don't have to travel overseas to study and so forth. So if you feel this is something, inshallah, that's beneficial, then I would recommend we do it as soon as possible, because don't wait till the next semester. This is a trick of shaitan where, you want to do something good. Let's say, for example, go to Hajj, and you have the means, you're ready to go, but you decide, oh, let's try it next time. So you don't want to delay. So there are some requirements for online learning at IOU. Educational requirements. You do require a high school diploma. It has to be, a valid diploma that is certified and uploaded to the site. And for the master's degree, a bachelor's. And also language requirements, because English for most of these programs is a primary language. And also Arabic programs are taught in English, but a basic level of Arabic reading is required. So time management is very important, because there's not there are only certain, in a semester, a few times there are live sessions where you could ask questions. So a lot of this is self-study. So a person needs to complete their, lectures, readings, assignments, module tests, you know, on given deadlines. computer literacy, a certain amount of it is important because obviously, to be able to research, use the site proficiently, um, and so forth. These are important. And exam center accessibility. So we do have exam centers in many parts, in most major cities, and most of the major cities do have more than one exam center. For example, where I am, the West, the city I'm in, I would say there's at least 5, 10, more than that exam centers. One Mass. This is called the 1 Million African Scholarship, and this is something that IU launched in 2017, and it sorry, it launched in 2017, and it is something that is meant to assist Muslims and people in Africa in general, especially the Muslims, because as we know, there are some stats that indicate that with a lot of the issues, not only in Africa and other parts of the world, Asia and so forth, in some of these countries that are not as developed as, let's say, the Western countries or other countries, there is a lack of um, qualifications for many youth, which would cause other issues and poverty and so forth. So this program is meant to help these potential students to gain a university education and then hopefully a profession and so forth through it, or further education without having to worry about the usual costs associated with it. Alhamdulillah, as you see, 32% of the students at IOU are under this type of scholarship or other scholarships from other parts of the world. There are other subsidiary programs at IOU. One is the Global Quran Memorization Center. This offers the ability to memorize for students to memorize uh, the Quran, the word of Allah, alhamdulillah, from qualified teachers with ijazas and so forth, licenses to teach tajweed or teach the actual memorization. So, and the fees vary from 10 to 50 per month. And it's a bit different structure where it's per month, and they're pretty well the programs all live sessions, obviously, because it is Quran and listening and reciting, alhamdulillah. Then there's a general diploma in Islamic studies, and it's basically a subscription where people have access to general courses in different areas of Islamic studies and others. For example, the basics of fiqh, Tahara, especially for people who, might not have studied it or they're new Muslims and so forth. There's actually specific programs for that, and it's just a simple registration, a small fee, $1 per month, so people have access. Of course, it does not have the same content as the other programs. Then there's the Ilm Institute, which is actually where a lot of courses are offered, kind of like training, like education, finance, health, parenting, and these are for different fees, but a lot very affordable. And there's the Solace Islamic Mental Health Services, which is a joint venture with people, Muslims who have expertise in the field of mental health services, and it starts with a $30 per session and $50 for workshops. So these are other subsidiaries. This pretty well ends it. Again, as I mentioned, I would encourage all of you to take a look at this option. As I mentioned, the hadith encourages us that every Muslim should be increasing their knowledge every day. And the verse in the Quran mentions many of the verses in the Quran mentions the greatness of the one who tries to seek knowledge and increase themselves in this. For example, Allah mentions يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. Allah raises those who have faith amongst you and those with knowledge degrees. So with that, I end. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put in the chat, and we'll be more than willing to address it. Again, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you have a great day. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.